What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Last Day. You know who I am. I'm the Birdman known as Falcon. Right now, we're going to do something a bit different than usual. Today's focus will be the Ask the Development column, because it's Wednesday. You'll probably see this video until Thursday, but this is the Wednesday recording. I'm doing this post-commentary, or at least pre-commentary. What that means is what you're seeing right now in the background will probably be recorded footage, and then I'll be talking over it, and if there's enough time at the end of this video, we'll jump into some live gameplay. The reason why I'm doing it this way this time around is because it gives me more of a chance to focus on the questions and give you my opinions. At the same time, there's a lot of good questions today. So without further ado, let's get started over here. The first one is going to be, will you add a boss type at the end of the bunkers? So like if you kill it, you get a chest better than red, like a special one, black ticket chest, and you get that ticket for the zombie boss. That would be cool, and the bunker would be more funnier than it is. Well, I'm not sure if the bunker is funny at all. Normally you go in there and you're trying to survive, right? So I think they probably meant more rewarding. And that does make sense. Like when you consider things like World of Warcraft or a lot of other MMORPGs, you have like normally a super boss monster at the end of a dungeon, right? Normally you go with a bunch of other people, you bring them down, and then you get a bunch of cool loot from bringing down this super strong monster. Now with Last Day, there's no multiplayer just yet, so it'd be kind of different because you kind of have to cater it around single player and hopefully down the line in the future, multiplayer as well. So that's a really good question. Now their answer was, yes, we want to add such kind of boss, and it will surely appear in the game one day. So they have now verified that's going to happen. And we've seen in the past, like, concept art of, like, really crazy looking monster. Remember back in the day, they showed that one image of the monster with, like, his arm dragging on the floor or something? That would be a pretty cool boss, I would say. They never actually added that, and they showed that a very long time ago. So are they planning to add that as a boss monster for the bunker or any other location? Possibly. And obviously killing him would be a lot more difficult than, killing a frenzied giant or something. So it probably won't be as tough as the big one, or the big communist red one as I like to call him, but it'll be pretty difficult still, because the big one's really broken. Don't ever fight the big one. Of course, you get the Zulu card, you can kill him, but considering how long it takes you to kill the big one, it is not worth it. I am pretty sure that down the line, when they make it, there's really no point in killing the big one right now, right? I'm sure eventually Kefir will give us a point to kill him, and when they do, they'll make it a lot more feasible than, shooting him with a shotgun for 2 damage until he's finally down, because that's really silly, right? So, boss monsters have been confirmed, which is great, so eventually we'll be able to do that. Now the next question here we have, will you be implementing more tactics to this game, like placing traps or dart guns to induce paralyzing slowdown effect on enemies? Also, zombie collar was fun, kinda hope it'd be a permanent item. Alright, first and foremost, number one, I did not like the zombie collar at all. It was fun, I guess, like it was like cool to see, but they were pretty lame when you think about it. You saw my videos on it, right? I spent all of my points on that. I went off to the bunker, I used it, and essentially they would just eventually die themselves. Like, we didn't even get through like 1/3 of the bunker before they all died, and I had like 5 rolling with me, so it was cool in theory, but not really like a good, strong item to have in general. Their answer though was, again, yes, we are thinking not only about paralyzing dart guns, but also about sleeping ones. Probably there are still scientists who desire to study rare zombies, and we will help them. Now the last part right there is Kefir just trying to be cute. There's not going to be any scientists, studying zombies. They're just trying to be funny, right? But the parts about the traps, that is actually true. So they're thinking already about paralyzing dart guns, but also sleeping ones. So more than likely that would be like a special type of weapon, I would suggest. Like a special type of weapon you get that if you shoot a zombie, it'll probably slow them down, which could be pretty cool. Can you imagine like being able to slow down a fast biter? I mean, they're not really too strong, but down the line, there's going to be stronger zombies, right? Different zombies. So they're going to have some fast ones that are probably even stronger than the fast biters. So it'd be very nice to be able to slow them down in order to kite them properly or use another weapon properly. Maybe even reduce their attack speed, which would be very cool too. So the idea that they're probably thinking about adding more different traps to the game or different tactics for fighting is very cool. The sleeping one, it's very, very similar to the paralyzing one. The paralyzing one would just slow them down. The sleeping one would freeze them in their tracks for a while. They're probably going to be asleep the entire time. Maybe you hit them a couple of times and they wake up and they fight you again, but the thing that they're thinking about stuff like that is pretty cool to see as well. Next question we have, also there was a larger variety of items to buy in the store. You used to be able to purchase single weapons of your choice, as well as supplies. Why has this changed? Will you be working on the store soon? Now, this doesn't really concern me too much because I don't really buy items, but for people who do want to buy items, I guess we'll cover this question as well. Their answer was, it was changed because we continue experimenting with the store in order to make it better. So yes, we're working on it. Now, I can't be telling you like, oh yeah, I remember how the store used to be, because even though I've seen the store in the past and how it's changed, I never really placed too much attention on what was there for sale because I don't, pay to win. I mean, it's fine if you want to pay to, get items, that's cool, it's your decision, but it's just not really how I want to play. I'd rather just kind of earn my items properly, so I guess for people who don't mind paying for items, apparently there is going to be a bigger selection of items down the line, but right now they're kind of testing what they have and see how that does for them in sales. I mean, let's be honest here, it's a game, they're a company, they're a business, they want to make money. So are they going to add more stuff down the line? Absolutely. Now the problem here is going to be making it still balanced, where if you're a free-to-play player, you're not going to be, I guess, you're not going to be at a lower end with a pay-to-win player. Say for instance somebody pays for all their strong items, or you're out there farming them, and you go head-to-head with that person. They might do better than you because they have a bunch of items they paid for, while if you're a free-to-play win player, or a free-to-play player, you can still do fine, but it's going to take you a longer time considered to them to be able to get those items. So there's got to be a certain type of balancing there. Oops, I hit my microphone. That's no good. There's got to be a certain type of balancing there to hopefully make it fine. Alright, so next question we have. Will you have some texture for our motorcycle with the colors of our nationality to identify ourselves in multiplayer? That's just something that, it's mostly superficial than anything else, but their answer was, great idea. We had the same... I guess they had the same idea too. We want to have such feature in our game and it should be accepted well. There are so many players from different countries who play our game. I mean, this is mostly just superficial. Like if they add this, I would not be surprised if that right there alone would possibly be one of those pay for items, because can you really imagine them adding all these textures to the motorcycle for all the countries that they're going to be playing? Because I mean, this is a worldwide game. We're not talking about just like a few countries. People, you guys tell me exactly where you're from. Well, not all of you guys, but a lot of you guys tell me where you're from, and the core base players of Last Day are all over the world. So for them to go and add all the flags as textures would be a big problem, especially because if you add a couple of flags, can you imagine the people who don't get a flag added? How upset that would be? So, I don't know. They're saying yeah, but... maybe we'll get an option to, have our flag as an icon next to our character. So if you run into an NPC, they'll have, say a US flag if it's me, right? If you run into me in the field somewhere, my AI, you'll probably see a little, US icon next to my name, and you'll be like, oh, that's that Birdman from America. I'm gonna kill him right now. So, I mean, that I can see happening. But textures for every single country that might play this game for the motorcycle, I don't really see it. That's all I'm saying. I don't really see it myself. Next question we have, can we repair the old pickup truck to make it a blueprint like the chopper and ATV, etc.? We could drive it to new events. That's not really a bad question, but it feels like it's another extension to the chopper and what the horse will do, and probably even the ATV will do. If you already have a chopper, a horse, and eventually, hopefully, the ATV, do we really need another vehicle as well? Now, I think... in the old trailers for the game, you know how the game used to look a lot different before they turned it into what it is now? We had second level houses and things like that. I think back then they actually showed a couple of trucks and oh no, it wasn't a truck, it was a sports vehicle, right? It was kind of like a Mustang looking vehicle. I believe that was just an idea that they scrapped because, again, as I mentioned, we already have the chopper for traveling. We'll probably have the horse, which will kind of work similar to the chopper with maybe less carrying potential. Eventually, we'll have that ATV. I mean, they cannot scrap the ATV at this point. A lot of people have already put a lot of work into it, so that's not going anywhere. So to add a pickup truck to that as well, I don't really see it happening. Now, their answer, however, was, we are planning to change the old pickup truck and even showed an art with a new version some time ago. You will be able to place it in different base zones or even delete it if you won't be able to repair it. Okay, so essentially, we'll be able to remove it completely or move it, but we are not going to be able to fix it, which is fine. It makes sense. As I mentioned, having yet another transportation seems very silly at this point. We already got the chopper, we'll have the horse, we'll have the ATV. I mean, hell, we have the zombie truck or the zombie van, which we don't even know how it's going to work out. There's also the helicopter eventually. I'm pretty sure they'll probably have a boat at some point or something. So there's already a lot of ways to possibly travel. We don't really need a pickup truck. Next question. As said in this week's Wednesday Ask the Developers post, it states that we will be able to torture players for information, under, base, or whatever. Does this mean we'll be able to hold a hostage an actual player for information for a limited time when they are released or escape? And their answer was, the reaction to this answer was amusive. Looks like many players are interested in this feature. Everything is possible, but firstly, we'll start with NPC characters. And that right there is the key point. The last part is them giving you the legit answer. Everything else is kind of like telling you, like, yeah, you know, keep hope, you know, so we think it's going to be cool. Like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to hold each other hostage. Remember when I did my video and you guys asked me about that, or I expanded on that question myself? I told you guys it would not work with human players. I told you guys it would be NPCs, and the reason why that is because it makes sense. You know, with an NPC, you could essentially knock them out or whatever, put them in your torture chair, and then there's going to be like some sort of option where you could get information from them. You go back to the map, and boom, on your map, a location pops up that is the location of that NPC's base. You go in there, you take them out for the weapons or the goods or whatever it is going to do. But having an actual human player knocked out and put into a torture chamber, I don't see it working, because what does that mean for you playing? So imagine we're playing multiplayer and I knock you out and I take you to the base and I put you in a chair, not yourself, but your character NPC, right? What does that mean for you? Can you play the game meanwhile? So I take you to my base, I have you there, what happens to you? You can't play. I can't play the game. I'm apparently being held hostage by Falcon. I want to play the game, I need to go farm, I need to go do something, but I can't because Falcon has me hostage. So, playing with live players in terms of hostages, I don't see it working because of that fact alone, because how are you going to control that dynamic? You know, how do I keep you there when you want to just continue playing? It's not fair for people who got caught, you know, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, what are you going to do? Tell me your location. Okay, I live over here, go raid it? Nah. I don't see it happening with live players. I see it happening with NPCs, as they mentioned. You know, they'll start with NPC characters, and I'm pretty sure they'll start with NPC characters and they'll also end there. With live characters, I do not see it happening. Again, it's just my opinion, but that's kind of like the way I see it. Next question. When guns run out of durability, do you see what I'm talking about right now? All the questions so far have been really good. This was a really good Ask the Developers thing, mind you. When guns run out of durability, it seems that they run out of ammo. When they run out of durability, can they be used as a melee weapon for a bit? They can have a tooltip saying out of ammo and good for nothing, might as well use it as a melee weapon. Edit. They can be used again if ammo is crafted, but once remade, they have half durability. Now their answer was, weapon durability can be considered as ammo. When hatchets tear from crackdowns on trees and fire weapons tear out of firing, we're not sure about overloading our UI with different types of ammo, so there is a small chance of implementation of such feature. That right there is in a nice development way is telling you it's not going to happen. And I understand why it's not going to happen. There's a ton of guns available in the game at this point, right? Of course, realistically, you're thinking, well, if I load a clip to a gun and I unload that clip, it doesn't mean the gun stops working, right? I'll just load it up again and shoot again. That makes sense in the real world, but this is a video game. So, as they mentioned, it would be difficult for them to actually now go and rework everything, because now you're thinking about, well, I have to lessen the amount of guns available in the game, I now have to have ammo, I have to have the UI for that, the GUI for that, the coding for that, etc., etc. So, don't expect ammunition to ever be added for guns. The guns, I am pretty sure, are going to stick the same way they work right now, and I don't think it's a big problem. I mean, it's only a big problem if you want to argue realism, which, yeah, that makes sense, but for the game, is it really going to be a big problem? You go through your entire handgun, okay, there's other guns in the game, just pick up another gun and there you go. I mean, why do you have to reload it? I mean, maybe what they can do, which they haven't talked, I mean, they probably have talked about it in the past, but I'm thinking about it now. Maybe what you can possibly do is put that gun in the weaponsmith bench, and then, if you add, like, I don't know, maybe steel, iron, aluminum, whatever they decide to add, you could probably restore the gun again back to its full state. but it would require like a bunch of items to be put into the gun. So that is the only way I ever see them reloading durability in a gun. And that could actually happen, mind you. But would it be worth it? I don't think so. I think you're better off just going somewhere else and finding another gun. I mean, guns are not really hard to find in this game. There are so many events they've added now that the guns are really accessible everywhere. So, do you really need ammo? Not really. Just go out and do a bit of farming, do some events. You will have a lot of guns, believe me. It's no longer exclusive. Before it used to be like, oh, you have to go to the bunker for guns. Now guns are just all over the place, believe me. I have a lot more guns now that I actually get rid of. I know people don't like me saying that because then people are like, Falcon, you're gonna change it, don't say that. Believe me, it doesn't matter if I say it, they know. They're the ones making the game, they know there's a lot of guns available. They play the game, they test the game, they see our reactions, they know there's a lot of guns, but they've made it that way because there's also a bunch of zombies. I mean, can you imagine this game right now with less guns if you go to the bunker? Frenzied giants? Numb zombies? The frozen bloaters? Can you imagine those dudes without guns? Yeah. Believe me, guns are not going anywhere, but ammo, don't ever see it happening. Next question. Will there be disasters in the game such as earthquakes, tsunamis, etc., since you want to make the game realistic? Their answer was, I haven't really thought about it. Last Day on Earth locations are not the typical ones for earthquakes, tsunamis, etc. We can count a zombie horde as a local disaster that disturbs you every day. If we add earthquakes or tsunamis, will it give any new experience to players or just annoy everybody? Think it over. And that is the perfect answer right there. That would be very annoying. I mean, it'd be cool to see it. It'd be like, oh, cool, there was an earthquake, something bad happened. I mean, in the game, right? Not in real life. Earthquakes and tsunamis have actually been happening really often all over the world recently, which is terrible. If you guys know anybody that's, gone through that, or maybe going through it or something like that, it's terrible. So, shout out to you guys who might be going with that. I mean, I don't want to make this video depressive suddenly, right? But anyway, let's go back to the game. It would be annoying, It'd be annoying. Like, imagine an earthquake happens, right, in the game. You know what an earthquake will do? Destroy your base. Do you really want that happening? Oh, cool, we have an earthquake event now. And suddenly you lose your level 3 or 4 walls in the base because of the earthquake. Would that be fun? No. It'd be very annoying. Same thing with tsunamis and stuff like that. So, they're right about that. Would it be really cool or would it just be annoying? The idea is like, yeah, that's actually kind of cool, but once you see it in action, it'll be very annoying. So, yeah, I'm glad. Don't add that. There's no need for that. It's a cool little thing to think about, but, we don't need superb realism in the game. Somewhat realism is fine. I mean, you're playing a zombie game. I mean, how realistic is it really, right? Okay, next question we have. Can you add the ability for us players to use weapons with both of our hands instead of one? That's actually... It's actually kind of intriguing. Let me read the answer here. Some weapons are considered to be one-handed, others two-handed. For example, if you take 2 machetes, you'll hit harder but slower. What's the big use of it? So, I guess we're considering dual wielding, right? Like, having 2 hatchets, 1 in each hand. I mean, it does make sense. Some weapons are two-handed. We see the animations in the character, right? When you're running around with the sword mace thing, you're carrying it with both hands. If you're swinging the Spike Devastator or a machete, you're only using one hand. So, adding a second one-handed weapon, wouldn't it just slow you down? I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's... What's the point? Because, if you use, like, 2 machetes, you'll have double the damage, but you're also going to be swinging a lot slower. So, technically speaking, it's almost the same as, using, like, 1 machete and being faster at it. So, the trade-off here is, would you rather hit really hard, slowly, or not so hard, but quickly? So, is there really a need for that? I don't think so, and I don't think the developers would be adding that either. And finally, the last question we have here is, as in the last Ask the Dev, you'll set that... What? As in the last Ask the Dev, okay, that confused me right there, you'll set. That we'll be able to customize our choppers, so okay. Oh my god, okay. This question is just breaking my brain. You'll add a sidecar because it'll be so useful and funny when multiplayer is out because then we can ride our friends around. Okay. What is it with the word funny? Huh? The bunker thing also said it would be funnier if we have a boss in there. It's not supposed to be funny. None of this is funny. I don't know. I guess, it's just like the translation into English, somebody from a different country that might not be so familiar with English is asking the question, so the wording is a little bit incorrect, which is fine. I play a bunch of games that don't have the exact, proper English translation, but, it's weird that the word funny comes up again. Anyway, their answer was, it could be awesome, but we need to finish multiplayer first to say if it is possible to add or not. So, a sidecar to carry other people with. I don't see it happening. I don't see the point in adding it. You know why? Here's why. The ATV would probably be the vehicle for multiplayer traveling. Why? Because an ATV is pretty big. You can fit a couple of people in there. With the motorcycle, yeah, you can ride behind somebody. You can ride next to somebody at a car. But to really add another part to the bicycle just for that, I mean, why even do that? Just basically make it so that the ATV is your multiplayer vehicle and leave the chopper as is. So is it going to happen? Based on their answer, how kind of like, it could be awesome. Nah, I don't see that happening. I think we're going to have a multiplayer vehicle, but it is going to be the ATV, not exactly the, what is it, the chopper here, the addition sidecar. I don't really see it happening. Like, a lot of these things that are suggested are kind of cool and thought, but you gotta think about like the work that needs to be put into it, because they're working on finishing the game, adding a bunch of stuff, more rooms to the bunkers, they have other bunkers to work with, so stuff like this that gets suggested is kind of cool in nature, but at the same time it's adding more stuff to the game that's not really needed. And I prefer to actually have them focus on adding things that are needed, like things that we actually do need, like multiplayer, all the items already in the game, like the flashlight, the bulbs, and all that stuff that there's no use for them, like that's the stuff I want them to focus on. I don't really care if they're going to be like, oh, let me add a sidecar to the chopper now so you can travel with your imaginary friend because there's no multiplayer right now, so what's the point, Things like that are kind of like need. But what we want is the game to be completed. We want at least the core ideas that they already have in mind to finish up, and then down the line they could, add stuff like that. Like, when people are talking about like the whole, the pet thing, like people are like, oh, it'd be cool if we have a pet. Yeah, it'd be cool. But do we really need it right now? And by the way, the pet thing might actually happen sooner than you think, because I was thinking about the zombie collar, and the zombie collar could be somewhat similar to how the pet thing would work. Now, here's what I think though. I think that you cannot probably get attached to your pets. Like, assuming they ever add a collar, like, let's call it the dog collar, right? If they ever add that, the pet feature, the animal goes off and attacks for you or looks for items for you, I think it'll work very similar to the zombie collar, where they will die fairly easily from either doing damage themselves or just they'll have like an internal time clock that just ticks down slowly by little, like the, like say the torch, how you can make the torch and it'll just slowly, the durability just goes down slowly even if you're not using it as a weapon. I think the pets will work that way, where they're not going to make it permanent. If they make it permanent, it might be a little bit too OP. I feel like they'll probably add like a dog collar that works like the zombie collar, so you use the item and the dog pops up and you can have them for a while, but then it'll probably die. And I guess in their explanation it'll be like, time's passing, there's zombies, obviously the dog's gonna die at some point. What's gonna be kind of intriguing is like, if they add a bunch of dog collars to the game, if you keep using them so you get a dog every single time you use it, I mean, where are all these dogs coming from when you think about it, right? So imagine you use the item, you have a dog, right? He goes out with you, you're hunting and whatever. He eventually dies like the zombie collar zombies. And then you use the item again and another dog pops up. So it's just funny to me. It's kind of like, what the heck's happening here? Where are these dogs coming from? Do you have like a kennel back home or something? Are you breeding dogs at home or something? How do you have all these dogs? I mean, it's kind of funny to think about, but that's where you have to start thinking about the realism of the game and the semi-realism. There's a lot of things that people want added that'll be realistic, like tsunamis and earthquakes, sure. But is it really needed for the game? Not really. And I feel like if pets get added, that's going to be how it's going to work out. You use an item, they'll go out for a while, they will eventually quote-unquote die, you got to use the item again and they pop up again. I mean, I guess you could probably in your mind imagine it's the same dog over and over, call it the same name, but I am pretty sure if they add pets, it'll probably be added like the zombie collars. You use it, they'll be there a little while, and that's basically it. Alrighty guys, well, going by the length of this video here thus far, this questionnaire, I think we're out of time. So I'm not going to be doing any live gameplay today. Everything you'll see in the background will be stuff I'll play on my own time, and I'll just put it at the end of the video, or not at the end of the video, but at the background of the video as I talk and we do these questions. I give you my opinions. So this actually worked out pretty good. I gotta say again, this set of questions was actually amazing. Normally there's like 2 or 3 good ones that I focus on. Today's questions were, for the most part, pretty good, because even though some of them were kind of like whatever, like this sidecar to the chopper, it still gives an idea about what's important to the game and what is not important to the game. So I hope you enjoyed it. Stick around for the next video whenever that does pop up. Maybe it'll be the update video. I don't see myself doing another video into the update, which hopefully should be this week. I don't think they'll skip this week. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see something on Friday or Saturday at the latest. So that'll probably be the next video that we do see here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will catch you next time.